The power of strangers. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the power of strangers. Strangers can help remind you who you are. They're like a mirror without judgment because they don't know you. So they just see you. And I think that's pretty powerful. I think that's the true power of strangers, is they can almost be a reflection of your true self. Saturday night, I was out with my girl. We were at the Bitter End. If anyone's in New York, y'all know it. It's a classic New York institution in Greenwich Village. A lot of amazing artists started there. And George Carlin in the comedy world, he recorded one of his albums there. A lot of comedians recorded albums there. More recently, like Lady Gaga, she's done stuff there. It's one of those classic New York institutions. And basically, I went to go see like a late night jam session. And it was a lot of fun. It was like at 11 p.m. And we sat down, and there was a older lady, like in her late 50s, early 60s, and her nephew, like they sat next to us, and they were watching as well. And she sat down. She's like, "Can I talk to you? I like you. I like the way you look." And I was like, "Sure." I always love talking to strangers. Personally, I like letting them talk. I listen. I like to listen. And we were talking, and classic New York woman. She was like very much herself, her personality. She was being her. And I love that. I love when people feel like they don't have to put up any guards or anything. And we were really getting into it. She's like, "Can I tell you something? The meaning of life is to find your gift. And the purpose of life, that's to give it away." Was she drunk? Yes. But was she right? Also yes. Absolutely. And the meaning of life, to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. And we just talked for a while, and at the end she's like, "You know what? I like you. I don't know what it is. There's something about you that I like." Again, that's where I go. Strangers, they really feel like sometimes they're mirrors without judgment. Our friends and our family are amazing, but you get to know someone. It's not that you take them for granted. It's that their personalities and who they are, it becomes common to you. It becomes like obvious. Those things that make you you, which are interesting to others, and they become natural. So through meeting other people, like, it's not a case of getting too comfortable. It's like friends and family, sometimes they can't see the forest like through the trees, right? But a stranger, they see you, who you are. They don't know you other than how you're showing up. And hopefully it's as yourself. That's why I keep talking about that. It's like just being yourself. And that's why I really think sometimes it takes a stranger to remind you who you really are. And you know what? When you're talking to them, you're probably going to remind them something about themselves. And it's great to have those conversations where there's nothing attached to it. There's no outcome. I had no outcome with this lady that I'm never going to see again, and her nephew. It was just, let's talk. You can really kind of get to the meaning of life, as she said, right away, within 20, 30 minutes. That's who she was. And she was cool being that with me. And to me, it's kind of inspiring. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to just make sure I'm myself with other people. That's what's interesting. Instead of saying, hey, how's the weather? How long did it take to get here? You know, where do you live? Like all that, just get into it. Get into what you really want to talk about with people. They will appreciate it. They will appreciate you being yourself, because then you already feel like a familiar friend to them. Don't have to deal with the pretenses. So, yeah, I say all that to say I think there's a lot of power in strangers and just meeting people. I think there's a lot of great things that can come from it. In New York, it's not very hard to do. Wherever you are in the world, just make sure you're open to meeting new people and really connecting with them genuinely as yourself. I think you'll be really surprised at how amazing it can be and how fun it can be. And to me, that is the power of strangers.